The knife was 2 inches from the old woman's throat when Amara's headlights cut through the alley. It was 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, and Amara Johnson was supposed to be home. Her double shift at Mercy General had drained every ounce of energy from her body, and all she wanted was her bed. But she'd taken a shortcut through Koreatown, the one that shaved off 10 minutes, the one her mother always told her to avoid. And now she was watching three men in black suits corner a tiny Korean woman against a dumpster, and one of them had a blade that caught the streetlight like a promise. Amara's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Every logical part of her brain screamed to keep driving, to look away, to pretend she hadn't seen anything. She had a 12-year-old brother at home. She had nursing school loans. She had a life that didn't include knife-wielding assassins in alleys at 3 in the morning. But the old woman's eyes found hers through the windshield, and something in that gaze made Amara's foot slam on the accelerator instead of the brake. Her Honda Civic roared forward, engine screaming as she aimed straight for the men. They scattered like roaches when light hits them, shouting in Korean, the knife clattering to the ground. Amara cranked the wheel hard, her car skidding sideways, blocking the alley entrance. She threw open the passenger door. "Get in. Now." The old woman didn't hesitate. For someone who looked 75 and weighed maybe 90 pounds, she moved with surprising speed, diving into the passenger seat with her handbag clutched to her chest. One of the men recovered, lunging for the door, but Amara was already reversing, tires squealing against asphalt. "Go, go, go," the old woman said, and her English was perfect, her voice steady in a way that didn't match the situation at all. Amara's heart was trying to punch through her ribcage. She could see the men in her rearview mirror, one of them pulling out a phone, the other two running for a black Mercedes parked on the street. She took the corner too fast, felt the car tilt, corrected just in time. "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" Amara's voice came out shaky. Her hands were trembling so badly she could barely hold the wheel. "I am fine, dear. Thanks to you." The old woman was adjusting her hair, tucking silver strands back into place like they'd just finished a pleasant lunch date. "My name is Mrs. Park, and you just saved my life. We need to go to the police. Those men, they were going to—" "No police." Mrs. Park's voice turned sharp, commanding. "Please, listen to me carefully. Take me to 4238 Wester Avenue. The restaurant called Wero. Do you know it? That's in the middle of Koreatown. We should. Please." The old woman's hand touched Amara's arm, and her grip was surprisingly strong. "I promise you will be safe, but we cannot involve the police. Not for this." Amara's nursing instincts kicked in. She glanced over, checking for signs of shock, for injuries, for anything that would explain why this woman didn't want help from the authorities. Mrs. Park's eyes were clear, sharp, intelligent. Not a victim in shock. Something else entirely. Who were those men? Why were they trying to kill you? That is a long story, dear, and I will tell you everything. But first, please, Western Avenue. I need to get home. The way she said home made something cold slide down Amara's spine. This wasn't a little old lady who needed rescuing. This was a woman who'd been in danger before and knew exactly how to handle it. Amara should have dropped her at the nearest hospital and disappeared. Should have stayed in her lane, stayed safe, stayed anonymous. But she didn't. She turned the car toward Koreatown and tried not to think about the black Mercedes that might be following them through the empty streets. If you've ever made a decision you knew you'd regret, drop a comment below. And if you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, hit that like button and subscribe, because Amara's night is about to get a whole lot worse. Asterisk, asterisk. 20 minutes later, they pulled up in front of Wero. The restaurant was dark, closed for the night, but the moment Mrs. Park stepped out of the car, the front door opened. A man appeared, young, Korean, wearing a suit that probably cost more than Amara's car. His eyes went wide when he saw Mrs. Park. Me and him. He rushed forward, speaking rapid Korean, his hands hovering over Mrs. Park like he was afraid she might shatter. Other men appeared from the shadows, 5, 6, 7 of them, all in dark suits, all moving with the kind of coordinated precision that made Amara's stomach drop. This wasn't a restaurant. Or if it was something else too. Mrs. Park turned back to Amara, who was still sitting in her car, engine running, ready to bolt. "Please come inside, just for a moment. I cannot let you leave without properly thanking you. I'm good, really. I'm just glad you're safe. I insist." Mrs. Park's smile was warm, grandmotherly, but her eyes held something that wasn't a request. "Please, 5 minutes. Then you can go." One of the suited men opened Amara's car door. He wasn't threatening, exactly, but he wasn't asking either. Amara's heart rate spiked again. She thought about her brother, Marcus, probably asleep on the couch with his Xbox controller still in his hand. She thought about her mom, who'd worked 3 jobs to get them out of South Central and into a decent neighborhood. She thought about all the warnings about getting involved in things that weren't her business. But she was already involved, wasn't she? The moment she'd driven into that alley, she'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross. She turned off the engine and stepped out of the car. The restaurant's interior was beautiful, all dark wood and paper lanterns, with a bar that stretched the length of one wall. But what caught Amara's attention were the men. There had to be 20 of them now, materializing from back rooms and side doors, and every single one was staring at her. Mrs. Park led her to a private room in the back. The private room was elegant in a way that made Amara feel underdressed in her scrubs and sneakers. Low table, cushions on the floor, walls decorated with what looked like expensive calligraphy. Mrs. Park gestured for her to sit, and Amara lowered herself onto a cushion, feeling completely out of her depth. A woman appeared with tea, poured 2 cups with practiced grace, and disappeared without a word. Mrs. Park sipped hers like they had all the time in the world, like there weren't 20 armed men just outside the door, like she hadn't almost been murdered 40 minutes ago. "You are wondering what you have walked into," Mrs. Park said finally. "That's one way to put it. My name is Park Myung. My husband built this organization 40 years ago, before he passed. My son runs it now. We are business people, miss. I am sorry, I did not catch your name." "Amara. Amara Johnson." She paused, then added because it seemed important somehow, "My dad was Korean. My mom is black. I'm a nurse at Mercy General." Mrs. Park's eyes lit up with something like approval. "Korean and African American. You're a bridge between worlds. That is beautiful and rare." "Mrs. Park, I don't want any trouble. I just wanted to help. I can forget I saw anything. Forget this address, forget. Those men who tried to kill me tonight were sent by the Chung family. Chinese syndicate out of San Francisco. They've been trying to move into our territory for 6 months." Mrs. Park's voice was matter-of-fact, like she was discussing grocery shopping. "The streets of Koreatown, the protection contracts, the distribution networks. They want what we have built." Amara's mouth went dry. "You're telling me we prefer the term family business. But yes, Amara, we operate outside traditional legal channels. And now you are part of a very complicated situation. I'm not part of anything. I saved your life. That's it. I'm going home." Amara started to stand, but Mrs. Park's next words froze her in place. "Those men saw your face. They saw your car, your license plate. Do you understand what that means?" The room seemed to tilt. Amara sat back down hard. "You are a witness. More than that, you are a threat. You interfered with a contract killing. The Chung family does not forgive that kind of interference. But I didn't know. I was just trying to help an old lady. I know, dear. And that is why you are still alive." Mrs. Park reached across the table and took Amara's hand. Her skin was paper-thin, soft, but her grip was iron. In Korean culture, when someone saves your life, a debt is created. A debt that cannot be repaid with money or words. My son is honor-bound to protect you now, and he will. But you must let him. I don't want protection from the Mafia. Then you want to die? Mrs. Park's voice turned sharp. Because that is your choice, Amara. Accept our protection and live, or walk out that door, and they will find you within 48 hours. They will find your family too. Your brother. Marcus, is it? Ice flooded Amara's veins. How do you know about Marcus? I make it my business to know who saves my life. Mrs. Park released her hand and sat back. You think I am the monster, but I am offering you a lifeline. The Chung family? They will show no mercy. Not to you, not to the people you love. The door opened. Every muscle in Amara's body tensed. The man who entered made the room feel smaller. He was maybe 35, tall for a Korean man, wearing a black suit that fit like it was painted on. His hair was styled back, his face all sharp angles and cold calculation. But it was his eyes that made Amara's breath catch, dark, intelligent, and completely unreadable. Iamianum. He bowed to his mother, then his gaze slid to Amara. This is her. Jean, this is Amara Johnson. Amara, my son, Park Jin-woo. Jean didn't bow to Amara. He studied her like she was a puzzle he was trying to solve, or maybe a problem he needed to eliminate. The silence stretched until Amara felt like screaming. You saved my mother's life, Jean said finally. His English was perfect, with just a hint of an accent that sounded expensive. Private schools. International business. For that, you have my gratitude and the gratitude of this family. I don't want gratitude. I want to go home. Home is not safe anymore. Jean moved to the window, looked out at the street below. The Chung family has been watching this location for weeks. They knew my mother would be here tonight. They knew her schedule, her security detail, everything. Which means we have a leak somewhere in our organization. Which means they are better informed than I thought. He turned back to face her. and something in his expression made Amara's skin prickle. They saw you, Miss Johnson. Clear view of your face, your vehicle, your license plate. By now they have your name, your address, your brother's school, your mother's workplace. They are thorough, and they are ruthless. So what am I supposed to do? Just accept that my life is over because I tried to help someone. Your life is not over, but it has changed. Jin crossed to the table, lowered himself onto a cushion across from her. Up close, she could see a scar along his jawline, faded but still visible. A reminder that this man had lived through violence. I'm offering you protection. Full protection. You and your family. We will move you to a safe location, provide security, ensure the Chung family cannot touch you. In exchange for what? Your cooperation, your discretion, and your trust. Amara laughed, and it came out bitter. Trust? I don't even know you people. Then let me tell you who we are. Jin's voice dropped lower, more dangerous. We are the Park family. We have controlled Koreatown for 3 generations. We protect our people, we honor our debts, and we do not forgive betrayal. You saved my mother's life, which makes you family now, whether you want to be or not. Have you ever felt trapped by your own good intentions? Let me know in the comments. And if you're hooked on this story, smash that subscribe button because things are about to get even more complicated. Amara felt the walls closing in. The tea in front of her had gone cold, and her hands were shaking again. She pressed them flat against her thighs to make them stop. I have a shift tomorrow. I have bills to pay. I have a life. And you will keep that life? Mrs. Park interjected gently. We are not asking you to abandon everything. We are asking you to be smart, to be safe. How long? Amara's voice cracked. How long would I need this protection? Jin and his mother exchanged a glance, and that look told Amara everything she needed to know. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't a few days until things blew over. The war with the Chung family has been brewing for months, Jin said. It will end one of 2 ways. Either they back down and return to San Francisco, or we eliminate their leadership and send a message that Los Angeles belongs to us. Either outcome will take time. Weeks? Months? Maybe longer. Amara stood up so fast the table shook, tea sloshing over the rim of the cups. No, absolutely not. I am not putting my life on hold for months because of your gang war. Jin stood too, and he moved like water, smooth and controlled. Sit down, Miss Johnson. Don't tell me what to do. Sit down. His voice didn't rise, but the command in it was absolute. 2 of the suited men appeared in the doorway, and Amara realized with growing horror that she wasn't a guest here. She was a captive. Mrs. Park stood, placed herself between Amara and her son. Jin, enough. She is frightened. She turned to Amara, and her eyes were kind but firm. Please sit. Let me show you something. From her handbag, Mrs. Park pulled out a phone. She tapped the screen a few times, then held it out to Amara. The video was grainy, security camera footage from outside a house. Amara's stomach dropped when she recognized the location. Her house. Her home in Baldwin Hills. In the video, a black car was parked across the street. As she watched, a man got out, walked up to her front door, looked around, then got back in the car. The timestamp was from 20 minutes ago. They already know where you live, Mrs. Park said softly. They are watching, waiting. If you go home right now, they will take you. They will hurt you until you tell them everything about tonight. Then they will kill you, and probably your family too, to send us a message. Amara's knees buckled. She sank back onto the cushion, and this time she couldn't stop her hands from shaking. She thought of Marcus, asleep and safe, not knowing that their world was crumbling. She thought of her mother, who'd survived an abusive marriage, poverty, discrimination, all to give her children a better life. And now Amara had brought death to their doorstep. My brother, she whispered. My mom. They're home. Jin was already on his phone, speaking rapid Korean. Within seconds, he turned back to her. I'm sending a team to your house now. They will secure your family and bring them here. They will not be harmed. You have my word. Your word? I don't know what your word is worth. It is worth everything. Jin's eyes locked onto hers, and for the first time she saw something other than cold calculation there. Something almost human. My mother is the most important person in my world. You saved her life when you could have driven past, when it would have been safer to look away. That means something to me. It means everything to me. I do not abandon my debts, Miss Johnson, and I do not let innocent people die because of my wars. Then end the war. Make peace with these Chung people. It is not that simple. Make it simple. Jin's jaw tightened. For a moment, she thought he might explode, might show her the violence she knew he was capable of. Instead, he took a breath and spoke with forced calm. The Chung family murdered 3 of my men last month. They burned down 2 of our businesses. They have been flooding Koreatown with drugs that kill, with enforcers who terrorize the shop owners we protect. They want to break us, humiliate us, drive us out. If I show weakness now, if I negotiate from a position of fear, they will smell blood in the water. They will come harder, and everyone under my protection will suffer. So this is about pride? This is about survival. Jin's control finally cracked, just a little. You think I want this war? You think I enjoy knowing that every day someone might die because of decisions I make? I inherited this empire from my father. I did not choose it, but it is mine now. And these people, he gestured toward the door, toward the men waiting outside. They depend on me. Their families depend on me. The shop owners, the restaurant workers, the immigrants who came here with nothing and built lives under our protection. If I fall, they all fall. The passion in his voice surprised her. This wasn't just a gangster talking about territory. This was a man who carried the weight of hundreds of lives on his shoulders. Amara's phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Sis, where are you? Some Korean dudes just showed up, and Mom is freaking out. Her heart stopped. They're at my house. My men, Jin confirmed. They will explain the situation to your family and bring them here. Gently, with respect. You're kidnapping my family. I'm saving your family. Jin crouched down so he was at eye level with her. Listen to me very carefully, Amara. In the next hour, the Chung family will realize that their assassins failed tonight. They will activate every asset they have to find you before you can tell anyone what you saw. Your house will be the first place they look. If your family is there when they arrive, they will be leverage, hostages, tools to use against you and against me. Is that what you want? Tears burned in Amara's eyes. This is insane. This whole thing is insane. Yes, Jin agreed. It is. Welcome to my world. Mrs. Park knelt beside her, took both of Amara's hands in hers. I am sorry, dear. Truly, you showed kindness to a stranger, and this is how the universe repays you. It is not fair. It is not right, but it is reality. And now you must choose. Let us protect you, or face the Chung family alone. What will it be? Amara closed her eyes. She thought about all the choices that had led her to this moment. Taking the shortcut through Koreatown. Not looking away when she saw the old woman in danger. Following her instincts instead of her fear. Every good thing she'd ever been taught. Help others, stand up for the weak, do the right thing even when it's hard, had led her directly into hell. Okay, she whispered. Okay, we'll stay. For now. Until this is over. Jin nodded once, sharp and decisive. You made the right choice. I will keep you safe. All of you. That is my promise. Ever felt like one good deed destroyed your entire life? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to like this video because Amara's nightmare is just beginning. 30 minutes later, Amara was pacing the length of the private room when the door opened and her family walked in. Marcus came first, his eyes wide with confusion and fear. He was wearing his Lakers jersey and basketball shorts, still half asleep. Behind him, her mother, Diane Johnson, walked in with her head high and her purse clutched like a weapon. The moment she saw Amara, relief and fury washed across her face in equal measure. Amara Nicole Johnson, what in God's name is going on? Amara rushed forward, pulled her brother into a hug. He was getting tall, almost as tall as her now, but he still felt like her baby brother. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. These men showed up at our door, said you were in trouble, said we had to come with them right now. Her mother's voice was shaking. I thought you were hurt or arrested or... I'm fine. Mom, I'm okay. But we have a situation. A situation? Her mother looked around the room, taking in Mrs. Park, Jin standing by the window, the expensive decor, the tension that hung in the air like smoke. What kind of situation requires armed men to collect us in the middle of the night? Jin stepped forward, and to Amara's surprise, he bowed. A real bow, deep and respectful. Mrs. Johnson, my name is Park Jin-woo. Your daughter saved my mother's life tonight. For that, our family owes her a debt we can never fully repay. But in doing so, she has also become a target for our enemies. I have brought you here to keep you safe. Diane looked at him like he'd grown a second head. Target? Enemies? What are you talking about? Mom, they're... Amara struggled for the right words. They're like a Korean protection organization. And the woman I saved is the boss's mother. And now some Chinese gang wants to kill me because I witnessed their failed hit. The silence that followed was deafening. Marcus's mouth fell open. Diane's face went through several emotions before settling on something between terror and rage. The Mafia? You got involved with the Korean Mafia? I didn't know. I just saw an old lady about to get stabbed, and I helped her. Of course you did. Diane pressed her fingers to her temples. Of course you did. Because you never think, Amara. You just act. You just jump in without considering the consequences. Would you have preferred I let her die? I would have preferred you keep yourself safe. Her mother's voice cracked. I would have preferred you think about your brother, about your future, about Mrs. Johnson. Jin's voice cut through the argument like a blade. Your daughter did what any person with a good heart would do. She should not be punished for her courage. The blame lies with the men who tried to kill my mother. And I promise you, they will be dealt with. Dealt with. Diane's eyes narrowed. You mean killed? Jean didn't flinch. If necessary, yes. Oh my God. We're in a room with murderers. Marcus, don't touch anything. Marcus, who had been edging toward the table where a decorative sword hung on the wall, froze. Mrs. Park stood, moved toward Diane with her hands outstretched. Mrs. Johnson, please. I know this is frightening, but you must understand, we are not your enemies. We are your protection. The Chung family, the people who want to hurt your daughter, they are ruthless. They will not stop because you are innocent. They will not care that you are a good family. They will use you to get to us, and then they will dispose of you like trash. And you're different? Yes, Mrs. Park said simply. We have honor. We have rules. We protect our own. And your daughter is our own now. Diane looked at Amara, and the disappointment in her eyes cut deeper than any knife could. All those years, all those sacrifices, working 3 jobs to get you into nursing school, to get us out of South Central and into a decent neighborhood. And now you're right back in it. The violence, the gangs, the streets. Everything I tried to save you from. Mom, that's not fair. Isn't it? Tears were sliding down Diane's face now. Your father got involved with the wrong people. You know what happened to him. You know what it cost us. And now you're doing the same thing. The mention of her father hit Amara like a physical blow. Park Jae-sung had been a good man who'd made bad choices. Gambling debts, loan sharks, and then one night he didn't come home. They found his body 3 days later in a dumpster in Koreatown. Amara had been 8 years old. I am not Dad, Amara said quietly. I didn't choose this. It chose me. Jean was watching this exchange with an unreadable expression. Finally, he spoke. Mrs. Johnson, I understand your fear and your anger. But right now, we do not have a luxury of debating what should or should not have happened. We only have what is. And what is that your family needs protection. I am offering that protection. A safe house, security, everything you need until the situation is resolved. And if we refuse, then you will die, probably within 24 hours. All of you. Jin's bluntness was almost shocking in its honesty. The Chung family does not make empty threats. They have already staked out your house. They know your routines. They're simply waiting for the right moment to strike. Marcus grabbed his mother's arm. Mom, I'm scared. That broke something in Diane. She pulled her son close, kissed the top of his head, and when she looked up, her eyes were hard. Fine, we'll accept your protection. But I want your word, Mr. Park. Your word that you will keep my children safe. You have it. On my father's grave. I swear to you, no harm will come to your family while you are under my protection. And when this is over, when your war, or whatever this is, ends, we get to go back to our lives? Our real lives. Jean hesitated, just for a second, and in that hesitation Amara saw the truth. Nothing would ever be the same. Even if they survived this, even if the Chung family was defeated, the Park family would always know where they lived. Would always have leverage. Would always be watching. Yes, Jean lied smoothly. When this is over, you'll be free to go. Mrs. Park stepped forward with a gentle smile. You must be exhausted. Let me show you to your rooms. We have a building nearby, very comfortable, very safe. You will have everything you need. Rooms? Diane's voice rose. You mean we're not going home at all? Not tonight, Jean said. Perhaps not for several nights. It depends on how quickly we can neutralize the threat. This is kidnapping. This is protection. There is a difference. Not from where I'm standing. Jin's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression darkened. Excuse me. He stepped out of the room, and Amara could hear him speaking harsh, rapid Korean in the hallway. Mrs. Park took Diane's hand. Cool me. Let me get you settled. Marcus, are you hungry? I'm sure we can find you something to eat. Marcus looked at his mother, who nodded tiredly. As they moved toward the door, Amara caught her brother's arm. I am sorry, Marcus. I'm so sorry. He hugged her tight. It's okay, sis. You were trying to help someone. That's what heroes do, right? Heroes. The word felt hollow. Heroes saved people and got medals. They didn't drag their families into Mafia, safe houses, and gang wars. Jean returned, and his face told her something was very wrong. What happened? The Chung family just made their move. They hit 3 of our businesses in the last hour. A restaurant, a warehouse, and a karaoke bar. 6 of my men are dead, 12 wounded, and they left a message spray-painted on the wall of the karaoke bar. What message? Jin's eyes met hers, and she saw genuine concern there for the first time. They said, "Give us the black nurse, or we burn Koreatown to the ground." Would you sacrifice yourself to save strangers? Comment your answer below, and subscribe because the stakes just got impossibly higher. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Amara felt the blood drain from her face. They know I'm a nurse. They know I'm black. How much else do they know? Jin's expression was grim. Everything. Your full name, your address, your work schedule, your brother's school, your mother's job at the bank. They have been thorough. Then give me to them. The words came out before Amara could stop them. If it stops this, if it saves lives, just give me to them. No. Jin's response was immediate and absolute. 6 people are dead because of me. How many more have to die? 6 people are dead because the Chung family are animals who murder to make a point. Jin crossed the room in 3 strides, got right in her face. You do not get to sacrifice yourself. You do not get to play martyr. Do you understand me? Why do you even care? You don't know me. Because my mother would never forgive me if I let you die. Because honor means something to me, even if it means nothing to you. And because he stopped himself, jaw clenching, something unspoken hanging between them. Because what? Because you remind me that there are still good people in this world. People who risk everything for strangers. And I will not let the Chung family destroy that goodness to win their war. The intensity in his voice caught her off guard. This wasn't just about debt or honor. This was personal for him in a way she didn't fully understand. Mrs. Park appeared in the doorway. Your family is settled. I gave him the East Wing, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom. Marcus is already asleep. Thank you, Amara said quietly, for being kind to them. They're family now. We take care of family. Mrs. Park looked at her son. Jin, what are you going to do? Why should have done weeks ago? End this. He pulled out his phone, made a call, spoke in Korean for several minutes. When he hung up, his face was set in stone. I am calling a meeting. Every family in Koreatown who has skin in this game. Tomorrow night. The Chung family wants war? I will give them war. More people will die, Amara said. Yes, but better it ends quickly than dragging on for months. Better we strike hard and decisively than let them pick us apart piece by piece. He turned to her. You will stay here. Do not leave this building. Do not contact anyone outside. Do not do anything that could give away your location. I have a shift at the hospital tomorrow. People will notice if I don't show up. I will handle it. You're sick. A family emergency. Whatever excuse you need, it will be made. You can't just control my entire life. Watch me. Jin headed for the door, then paused. There's a bedroom on the 3rd floor, last door on the right. It has a private bathroom, clean clothes in the closet that should fit you. Get some sleep. Tomorrow is going to be difficult. He left before she could argue. Mrs. Park gave her a sympathetic smile. My son can be intense, but his heart is in the right place. He will protect you, Amara, even if it costs him everything. Why would he do that? Why risk everything for someone he doesn't even know? Mrs. Park moved to the window, looked out at the neon lights of Koreatown below. When Jin was 16, his father was killed by a rival family, shot in the street like a dog. Jin watched him die, could not save him, could not stop it. He has carried that guilt for 19 years. Amara's chest tightened. I am sorry. My husband made choices that led to his death. Jin knows this, but still, he blames himself for not being strong enough, fast enough, ruthless enough. So now, when he has the power to save someone, he does not hesitate. He does not calculate the cost. He simply acts. Mrs. Park turned back to her. Just like you did tonight. I'm not a hero. I'm just a nurse who made a stupid decision. You are a woman who saw someone in need and helped them. That is the definition of a hero, dear. Mrs. Park squeezed her hand. Now go rest. You have been through a terrible ordeal. Your body needs sleep, even if your mind is racing. Amara found the bedroom Jin had mentioned. It was beautiful. Traditional Korean furniture mixed with modern amenities. A bed that looked like heaven, windows that overlooked the city. The closet held clothes in her size, all expensive brands she'd never be able to afford. Someone had been very thorough in preparing this room. She showered, letting the hot water wash away the smell of fear and adrenaline, then collapsed onto the bed in borrowed pajamas. Her phone buzzed. Text messages from co-workers asking where she was, if she was okay, why she'd missed her shift. She wanted to respond, to reassure them, but Jin's warning echoed in her head. Do not contact anyone outside. She was a prisoner. A protected, comfortable prisoner, but a prisoner nonetheless. Sleep came in fits and starts, interrupted by nightmares of knives and blood and her brother's face as bullets tore through him. She woke up gasping at 4 a.m., heart pounding, and couldn't fall back asleep. At 6 a.m., she gave up and went downstairs. The restaurant was quiet but not empty. Two men in suits stood guard at the door. A third was cleaning glasses behind the bar. He looked up when she appeared. "Coffee?" he asked in accented English. "Please." He poured her a cup, black and strong. She sat at the bar, wrapped her hands around the warm mug, tried to pretend this was normal. Just a regular morning in a regular place. "You're the one who saved Mrs. Park." It wasn't a question. "Yeah, that's me. Thank you. She is important to many people. If she had died..." He trailed off, shook his head. "You did a brave thing, or a stupid thing. Sometimes they are the same thing." He smiled. "My name is Kim. I have worked for the Park family for 12 years. If you need anything, you ask me, okay?" "Thanks, Kim." The front door opened, and Jin walked in. He looked like he hadn't slept at all, his suit rumpled, his eyes red-rimmed. He saw her at the bar, and something flickered across his face. Relief? Surprise? It was gone too quickly to identify. "You are awake early. Couldn't sleep. Nightmares." He nodded like he understood. "Kim, coffee, please. And something to eat." "We skipped dinner." Kim disappeared into the kitchen. Jin sat down next to her at the bar, close enough that she could smell his cologne mixed with cigarette smoke and exhaustion. "How is your family?" "Asleep, I think. I haven't checked on them yet." "Your mother is strong. She will adapt. She hates this. Hates you. Hates me for getting us into this." "She does not hate you. She is afraid. Fear makes people say things they do not mean." Jin rubbed his face. "The meeting is set for tonight. 8 p.m. Every major player in Koreatown will be there. We will discuss terms, boundaries, and what happens if the Chung family does not back down. And if they don't, then we go to war. Real war. Not these small skirmishes and assassinations. Full-scale conflict until one side is destroyed." Amara's stomach turned. "How can you be so calm about this? About killing people?" "I'm not calm. I'm terrified. Every decision I make could lead to the death of people I am responsible for. People with families, with children, with dreams. The weight of that never leaves me. Not for a single moment." He looked at her, and she saw the truth of it in his eyes. The exhaustion, the burden, the cost of being who he was. "But I cannot show fear. Cannot show weakness. Because the moment I do, we are all dead." Have you ever had to hide your fear to protect others? Let me know in the comments. And if you're invested in this story, hit that like button and subscribe. We're heading toward an explosive confrontation. Asterisk asterisk. Kim returned with food, steaming bowls of rice porridge, banchan side dishes, grilled fish. The smell made Amara realize she hadn't eaten since her shift yesterday. She picked up her spoon and started eating, and Jin did the same. For a few minutes, they ate in silence, and it felt almost normal. Almost like two regular people having breakfast instead of a nurse and a crime boss planning for war. "Can I ask you something?" Amara said finally. "Yes." "Why do you do this? I mean, you're clearly educated, smart, probably rich enough to do anything you want. Why stay in this life?" Jin set down his spoon, considered the question. "You think I chose this? Didn't you? My father was Park Dae-young. The Park family has controlled Koreatown since the 1980s. When he died, I was 16. Too young, too inexperienced, too soft. My father's lieutenants wanted to divide the territory, sell it off, make deals with other families. But my mother refused. She said the Park name meant something, that my father built this empire to protect Korean immigrants who had no one else to protect them." He paused, picked up his coffee, drank it black and bitter. "So she held it together until I was old enough to take over. Taught me everything. How to read people, how to negotiate, how to know when violence is necessary and when it is waste. I was 23 when I officially became the head of this family. That was 12 years ago. And in those 12 years, I have tried to be better than my father. More strategic, less brutal. But the world does not reward kindness, Amara. It rewards strength. There has to be another way. Something that doesn't involve people dying. If you find it, please tell me. Because I have been looking for 12 years, and I have not found it yet." Jin turned to face her fully. "You think we're monsters? Maybe we are. But we also run soup kitchens for the elderly. We give loans to immigrants who cannot get bank accounts. We stop other gangs from preying on our people. We are the government for people who have no government. The law for people the law ignores. That doesn't justify murder. No, it does not. But explains it." He stood, pulled out his wallet, placed several $100 bills on the bar. "Kim, make sure Miss Johnson has everything she needs today. And keep the guards on the doors. No one comes in or out without my approval." "Where are you going?" Amara asked. "To prepare for tonight. And to make sure the Chung family understands what will happen if they continue this. More violence. Necessary violence." He looked at her, and something in his expression softened slightly. "I know you do not understand. I know you think I am a monster. But I'm trying to minimize the damage, Amara. Trying to end this quickly so fewer people die. That is the best I can offer. He left, and Amara sat alone at the bar, feeling the weight of everything crushing down on her. How had her life turned into this? 24 hours ago, she was a nurse with student loans and weekend plans and a future that made sense. Now she was trapped in a building surrounded by armed guards, her family held hostage by circumstance, and a gang war being fought in her name. Her mother appeared at the bottom of the stairs, already dressed, her face set in that expression that meant she was barely holding it together. "Morning, baby." "Morning, Mom. Did you sleep?" "Not really. This bed is too soft. These walls are too thick. I kept thinking someone was going to break in." Diane sat down next to her, noticed the food. "Is that breakfast?" "Yeah. Kim made it. He's the bartender. He's nice. The nice bartender who works for the Korean Mafia." "Great. That's my life now." But Diane picked up a spoon and started eating anyway. After a few bites, she said, "That Park man, the son, is he treating you okay?" "Gene?" "Yeah. I mean, as okay as you can treat someone you're basically holding prisoner. He looks at you weird." Amara nearly choked on her porridge. "What?" "No, he doesn't." "Yes, he does. Like he's trying to figure you out. Like you're a puzzle he can't solve." Diane's eyes narrowed. "You stay away from that man, Amara. Nothing good comes from getting involved with men like him. I learned that lesson with your father." "Mom, I'm not getting involved with anyone. I just want to survive this and go back to normal." "Normal?" Diane laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Baby, I don't think we get normal anymore. Even if we survive this, even if they let us go, we'll always be looking over our shoulders. Always wondering if today's the day someone decides we know too much." The truth of that settled over them like a shroud. Amara reached for her mother's hand, squeezed it tight. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I got us into this. I know, and I know you were trying to help. But God, Amara, sometimes I wish you would just think before you act. Just once, think about the consequences. If I'd thought about the consequences, Mrs. Park would be dead right now, and we would be safe." The words hung between them, brutal and honest. Amara pulled her hand back, felt something crack inside her chest. "So you wish I let her die? That's what you're saying." "I'm saying I wish you'd prioritize your own family over a stranger." "Is that so wrong?" Diane's voice rose. "Is it wrong that I want my daughter alive more than I want some old Korean lady I've never met alive?" "Yes. Yes, it's wrong. We don't get to choose whose life matters based on whether we know them." Easy to say when it's not your brother's life on the line. "It is my brother's life. You think I don't know that? You think I don't feel sick every time I think about Marcus in danger because of me?" Amara was standing now, voice shaking. "But what was I supposed to do, Mom? Drive past? Let those men kill her? Live with that for the rest of my life? You could have called the police. There wasn't time. By the time they arrived, she would have been dead. Better her than you." The slap came out of nowhere. Not a physical slap, but the words hit just as hard. Amara stared at her mother, seeing someone she didn't recognize. Someone who'd been pushed so far by fear that she'd become something else. Something harder. Something that calculated the value of human lives. "I'm sorry you feel that way," Amara said quietly. "I'm sorry my conscience is such a burden to you." She walked away before her mother could respond, headed back upstairs to her room. Her phone was buzzing again. More messages from work, from friends, from people who existed in her old life. The life before. She wanted to scream, to throw the phone against the wall, to break something. Instead, she sat on the bed and cried. An hour later, there was a knock on her door. She wiped her face, tried to compose herself. "Come in." It was Mrs. Park, carrying a tray with tea and what looked like Korean sweets. "I heard you and your mother fighting. The walls are not as thick as they should be." "Great. So everyone knows my mom wishes I'd let you die." Mrs. Park set down the tray, sat beside her on the bed. "She does not wish that. She wishes her daughter was safe. Those are two different things. Doesn't feel different. When I was young, maybe your age, I fell in love with a man my parents disapproved of. Park Dae-young. They said he was dangerous, that he would bring shame to our family, that I should marry the nice accountant they had chosen for me instead." Mrs. Park poured tea with steady hands. "I married Dae-young anyway, and my mother did not speak to me for 5 years. 5 years of silence, of missing family gatherings, of holidays spent alone. I thought she hated me. Did she? No. She was terrified for me, and she was right to be terrified. My husband was dangerous. He did bring violence into my life. I buried 3 friends, lost 2 pregnancies to stress, spent countless nights wondering if he would come home or if I would get a phone call saying he was dead." Mrs. Park handed her the tea. "But I also had Jean. I built a life that mattered. I protected people who needed protection. And eventually, My mother forgave me. Not because she understood my choices, but because she loved me more than she feared for me. My mom doesn't love me more than she fears for me. She does. She just has not remembered that yet. Give her time. Mrs. Park squeezed her hand. You did a good thing, Amara. A brave thing. Do not let fear make you doubt that. 6 people are dead because of what I did. 6 people are dead because the Chung family are murderers. You are not responsible for the evil other people choose to do. Amara wanted to believe that. Wanted to accept the absolution Mrs. Park was offering. But the weight in her chest wouldn't lift. What's going to happen tonight? At the meeting, Mrs. Park's expression darkened. Jin will offer terms. The Chung family will probably reject them. And then we will see who has more will to fight. People will die. Yes, they will. That is the cost of this life. Mrs. Park stood, moved toward the door. But Jin will do everything in his power to minimize that cost. He is not his father. He does not enjoy violence. He simply understands that sometimes it is necessary. Do you think Amara made the right choice? Drop a comment and let me know. And make sure you're subscribed because the meeting tonight is going to change everything. Night fell over Koreatown like a curtain dropping on a stage, and Amara watched from her window as black cars began arriving at the restaurant below. Expensive vehicles, tinted windows, men in suits that probably cost more than her monthly rent. This was it. The meeting that would determine whether she lived or died, whether her family stayed safe or became collateral damage in someone else's war. Jin had left hours ago to prepare. Mrs. Park was downstairs greeting arrivals, playing the role of gracious hostess even though everyone knew what this really was. A powder keg waiting for a spark. Marcus knocked on her door, poked his head in. Sis, can I hang out in here? Mom's pacing and muttering to herself, and it's kind of freaking me out. Yeah, come in. She made space for him on the window seat. He was still wearing his Lakers jersey, still looked like a kid even though he was almost 13. Still innocent in a way she wasn't anymore. You doing okay? I guess. This is like something out of a movie, you know? Except movies are fun, and this is just scary. He picked at a thread on his jersey. Are we gonna die? The question was so direct, so honest, that Amara couldn't bring herself to lie. I don't know, but Jin promised to protect us, and I think he means it. The scary Korean dude? Yeah, the scary Korean dude who's actually not as scary as he seems. Marcus was quiet for a moment, then said, Dad got killed by people like this, didn't he? The Korean gangs. Amara's throat tightened. They'd never really talked about this, not directly. Their mother had always changed the subject, pushed it away, pretended their father's death was just a random tragedy instead of what it really was. Yeah, he did. Do you think about him? Sometimes. Not as much as I should. Maybe. I was so young when he died. Most of what I remember is Mom crying and the funeral and then just emptiness. Like there was this dad-shaped hole in our lives that never got filled. I don't remember him at all. Just pictures. Marcus leaned against her shoulder. Is it weird that I'm more scared of losing you than I ever was of losing him? That's not weird. That's normal. She wrapped her arm around him. And you're not going to lose me, Marcus. I promise. You can't promise that. I can try. They sat like that, watching the cars arrive, watching the sky darken from purple to black. Finally, Marcus said, when this is over, can we get pizza? Like, really good pizza from that place in Santa Monica? When this is over, we can get whatever you want. Cool. I'm going to hold you to that. A sharp knock on the door made them both jump. One of Jin's men stood there, the one called Kim. Miss Johnson, the meeting is starting. Mr. Park requests that you come downstairs. Why? I'm not part of this. You are the reason for this meeting. He thinks you should be present. Amara's stomach dropped. He wants me in a room? With all those people. Just outside the room. Close enough to hear, far enough to be safe. He wants you to understand what is at stake. She didn't want to go. Didn't want to see the faces of the men who were deciding her fate like she was a piece on a chessboard. But she also couldn't hide forever. Okay, let me just, Marcus, stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me or Mom. Cease. Please, just do what I say. She followed Kim downstairs, her heart hammering against her ribs. The restaurant had been transformed. The main dining area was filled with men, maybe 40 of them, all in suits, all watching each other with the careful attention of predators in the same territory. Korean faces mostly, but she spotted a few Chinese men in the corner, a couple of white guys who might have been Russian, even one black man who looked completely out of place until she saw the tattoo on his neck. Everyone here was dangerous. Everyone here had killed or ordered killings. Kim led her to a small alcove near the private room where Jin would be meeting with the leadership. She could see through a gap in the door, could hear everything. Jin stood at the head of the table, his mother beside him. Across from them sat a Chinese man in his 50s, scarred face, cold eyes, flanked by two younger men who looked like they'd been carved from stone. The Chung family. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Chung," Jin said, his voice formal, controlled. "I appreciate your willingness to meet face to face. I am here because your mother asked." Mr. Chung replied in English heavy, with Cantonese accent. "Out of respect for her, not for you, boy. Nevertheless, you are here. Let us discuss terms." "Terms?" Mr. Chung laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "You think you can dictate terms after your nurse whore interfered with our business?" Amara felt the insult like a slap, but Jin's expression didn't change. "Miss Johnson is not a whore. She is an innocent woman who saved my mother's life. Your quarrel is with me, not with her. Our quarrel is with your entire family. You have controlled Koreatown for too long, charged too much for protection, taken too much profit. It is time for new management. And you believe you can provide that management? I know I can. The question is whether you will step aside peacefully or whether we will have to remove you by force." Jean leaned forward, and even from her hiding spot, Amara could feel the danger radiating off him. "Let me be very clear, Mr. Chung. Koreatown is Park territory. It has been Park territory for 40 years. My father bled for it. I have bled for it, and I will burn this entire city to the ground before I let you take it from me." Big words from a man whose organization is crumbling. "We have killed 6 of your men, burned 3 of your businesses, and now your people are starting to wonder if you can actually protect them. Is that what you think? That fear will make them abandon me." Jin's smile was sharp as a blade. "You do not understand Koreans, Mr. Chung. We do not abandon family in times of trouble. We become stronger, more united. Every attack you make only proves that I was right to stand against you. Then you choose war. No, you chose war the moment you sent assassins after my mother. I am simply finishing what you started." Mr. Chung stood, his men standing with him. "You will regret this, boy. When your mother is dead, when your businesses are ash, when everyone you love is buried, you will wish you had taken my offer. Get out of my restaurant. Gladly. But first give us the nurse. The black woman. She is a witness. She saw our faces. We cannot allow her to live. She is under my protection. You will not touch her. Then she will die with you when we come for you. And we will come, Park Jin-woo. Tonight. Tomorrow. Next week. We will keep coming until there is nothing left of your empire but blood and memories." The Chung family walked out, their footsteps echoing on the hardwood floor. The moment they were gone, the tension in the room exploded. Jin's lieutenants started shouting, some demanding immediate retaliation, others arguing for defensive positions, everyone talking over each other. Jin slammed his fist on the table, and the room went silent. "Enough. We knew this meeting would not end in peace. Now we prepare for war. Real war. Lock down all our territories. Double the guards on our businesses. Move the families to safe houses. And find me every piece of information we have on Chung's operations. Every warehouse, every dealer, every lieutenant. If they want to burn us down, we will strike first and strike hard." "What about the girl?" one of the lieutenants asked. "She's the reason they're pushing so hard. If we give her to them, if anyone in this room suggests giving up Miss Johnson again, I will shoot them myself." Jin's voice was ice. "She saved my mother. She is family, and we do not sacrifice family to save ourselves. Is that understood?" Murmurs of agreement, some reluctant, some genuine. Mrs. Park stood, placed her hand on her son's shoulder. "My husband would be proud of you tonight. You stood for what is right, even knowing the cost. The cost is going to be high, Mother. Very high. I know. But some things are worth any cost." Amara couldn't watch anymore. She slipped away from the alcove, headed back upstairs, her mind racing. Real war. Because of her. Because she'd saved a life. The cruel irony of it made her want to scream. She found Marcus asleep on her bed, his phone still in his hand. She sat beside him, brushed his hair back from his forehead, like she used to when he was little. How was she supposed to protect him from this? How was she supposed to keep him safe when armies were gathering and violence was coming like a storm? The door opened. Jean stood there, and he looked exhausted, older than his 35 years. "You heard?" "Yeah, I heard. I'm sorry. I tried to negotiate, tried to find a peaceful solution. I know. And now people are going to die because the Chung family wants my head on a plate." Jean entered the room, careful not to wake Marcus. "They want your head because they want an excuse to attack us. You are not the cause, Amara. You are the justification they chose. If it was not you, it would be something else. That doesn't make me feel better. It is not supposed to make you feel better. It is supposed to be the truth." He moved to the window, looked out at his kingdom. "I have to ask you something, and I need you to be honest." "Okay. Do you regret it? Saving my mother?" If you could go back, knowing what you know now, would you still stop in that alley? Amara looked at her brother, thought about her mother downstairs, thought about the life she'd had before. The simple, safe, predictable life. Then she thought about Mrs. Park's kind eyes, about the gratitude in her voice, about the fact that a human being was alive right now, because Amara had chosen courage over convenience. Yes, she said finally. I would still stop. I would still help her. Because that's who I am. That's who my parents raised me to be. And if the cost of being that person is this nightmare, then I guess that's the cost. Jin turned to look at her, and something in his expression shifted, softened. You are remarkable, you know that? I am terrified. Remarkable people usually are. He moved toward the door, then paused. I meant what I said downstairs. I will protect you, whatever it takes, even if it costs me everything. Why? Why would you do that for me? He was quiet for a long moment, and when he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. Because in a world full of people who look away, you looked toward the danger. And that is rarer than you know, rarer than gold, worth protecting at any cost. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. He looked at the screen, and his face went white. What? What is it? The Chung family. They are not waiting for war. They're already here. He grabbed her arm. We need to move. Now. What do you mean they're here? I mean they have 20 cars surrounding this building right now. I mean they brought an army. And I mean we have maybe 3 minutes before they breach the doors. Amara's blood turned to ice. Marcus, my mother. Kim is getting them. But you need to come with me. There is a tunnel beneath this building. Leads to a safe house 2 blocks away. We can get you out before. The explosion cut him off. The entire building shook, and Amara heard Marcus scream from the bed. Glass shattered somewhere downstairs. Gunfire erupted, rapid and deafening. Jin pulled a gun from inside his jacket, grabbed Amara's hand with the other. Move! Now! They ran. Will Amara and her family escape the siege? Can Jin protect them when the Chung family has them surrounded? And what secret connection does Jin have to Amara's father's death? The one that could change everything. You need to see what happens next in part 2. Hit that subscribe button right now and smash the notification bell so you don't miss it. Drop a comment telling me if you think they'll make it out alive, and like this video if you're addicted to this story. Part 2 drops soon, and trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. See you in the next one.